All right, ready to go, Jim?
She had some horses. She had some horses with no bodies. She had some horses the color of the sky. She had some horses that were smiles and tears. She had some horses that rode through blood. She had some horses that were glass and would shatter in thunder. She had some horses that were rocky beaches. She had some horses. She had some horses that never feared storms. She had horses with legs of iron. She had some horses that took nothing seriously. She had horses who threw their lives away. She had horses that licked toxins and drank only beers and fears. She had some horses. She had some horses who danced in mosh pits. She had some horses who danced so beautifully, smiles covered all our faces. She had some horses who, though there were no, who saw there were gifts in corners of life except DC. She had horses who only galloped in the light of the moon. She had some horses who always had plenty to say and never shied away from that light. She had some horses. She had horses who like dine, round dances. She had some horses that sounded like ancestors' songs. She had horses who were shills for those who only had contempt for horses. She had some horses who lived their life as warriors so they could continue to be brave and take care of the young, take care of the elders, take care of the land, take care of the community. She had some horses. She had some horses who had bodies of love. She had some horses who found it easy to forgive. She had some horses who had 2 brain cells left from the 70s. She had some horses who could always remember these were the same horses. Welcome to 5th Sunday Jihmye Poetry. Glad you're all here. And if you would like to be on the mic today and you haven't signed up, please see me when I sit down and our poetry gets going. Let's do some housekeeping. That is a painting on that wall by Jimmy Collins. And this is Jimmy Collins. He was a Black Panther back in Indianapolis back in the day. And he came to me in 2010 over at the Big Kitchen and said, let's start an open mic. I said, oh, no, I don't want to deal with all those personalities. He said, brother, we're hungry for community. We're hungry for poetry community. We can do it together. And Jimmy Collins and I did it together for a year, and then he died from sickle cells. And I went to his widow, and I said, we have this community. Some of these people have been coming here since 2011. And I said, let's keep it going, and I like to rename it Second Sunday Open Mic. That's how he spelled his name. And she said, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. She gave me permission. So then I came to Frank Moody, who's the owner of this business, because when Jimmy and I were talking about how to do this, he said, I have one condition. And I said, what's that? He said, we have to do it at a Black-owned business. So I have a problem with that. So Frank is a 20-year veteran of our Air Force. He served our country for 20 years. He's definitely not Caucasian, so he's in. And so let's give Frank Moody, give him some love.
Yeah, thanks.
And his lovely wife, Han. And that waitress who's working double time for us. We want to send our love to you. If you need to go to the restroom, it's right here behind me. And if you need to, if you're on Zoom and you need to, oh, nobody's on there yet, huh?
I don't see anybody yet.
Okay. So anyway, the Zoom our feature is supposed to be on Zoom, so we got our fingers crossed. But poets get 2 poems or 5 minutes, and musicians get 2 songs or 10 minutes. And I've got some musicians coming in that they're in a gig right now. I hope they show up soon. And I guess that's pretty much all of my housekeeping. And I want to thank you for coming today. We're supposed to be here on Easter Sunday. but they wanted to close and be with family, and we sure understand that. So this is fifth Sunday. This is the last day of National Poetry Month. And if you've never been in here before, we have some talent in this room. Actually, fasten your seatbelts. There's some very talented poets in here, and they are, and you are my America. You keep me sane with all this nonsense that's going on. So give yourself some love right now, and thank you for coming. And so we have a Vietnam veteran that's going to come up. He and I have published two books together. He's won a lot of awards. I love his stories about he and his wife. Patsy, they were married for a long time, and 20 years of that time she had breast cancer, and he stayed with her right to the end. When he said death till death do us part, he's a gentleman about that. This is Joe Malash. Go.
So today usually I like to tell a story about my wife or one of my uncles. Well, what the heck? My uncle Bill, when he was 92, lived on the border between Michigan and Ohio. He lived in Sturgis, Michigan, but he'd go across the border and he'd get drunk and drive in Ohio because he figured, if they take my license away in Ohio, I live in Michigan. What's the big deal? So one night, his son, my cousin Bill, he got a phone call. He was 67. He said, "Come get your father. He's got a drunk driving. He's in the tank. Come bail him out." So he went down there. They appeared before the judge, and the judge says, "I don't care if he's 100 next time he drives drunk in." But that has nothing to do with this poem. But on a serious note, a good friend of mine, Deborah Tobola, she works up in San Luis Obispo County. She's a poet. She formed an organization in 1990, Poets for Social Justice, where she got poets into prisons to teach poetry to the inmates. And she got the poems produced, published. And she did that up until 2020. And now she's quite ill with cancer in the third stage. So I'd like to dedicate this poem to Deborah. It's called All Hallows Eve. Since your death, I'm unable to sleep. Tonight, it's midnight on All Hallows Eve, and I stand by my kitchen window. My ears have tired of the silence. They ache for sound, even the hum of the refrigerator's motor or the knock of the ice clicking behind the refrigerator door. Lifting the blinds, I open the window. The fall air touches my face, and I ask, "Are you there?" Spirits wandering through the moonlit shadow, coming to life, one shadow, a possum, steps through a gap in the fence. Walking across the yard, it places its paws cautiously on dry leaves. Stopping to smell the flowers of the aloe vera, it nudges the petals with its snout. It starts towards the guava tree and finds a fallen fruit near the trunk's base. The possum noses it like the loneliness, pushing its soft muscle against my heart. Bird animal, I watched you eating and wish you were a spirit guiding me to the other side. But you rise on your toes and merge with the tree silhouette. From the darkness comes the sound of your munching. It cuts through my wish to believe in Irish bliss. Soon my soul will cross the sky where, as it has from my birth, the sun burns silently. Thank you.
Still need that cane, don't you?
Where's the, who's that?
Thank you, Joe. This is a poet that it's very, very important that you do not offer him decaf. This is Chris Vanoy.
Had a workshop where we looked over different poets every month, and this was the poet of the month, Kenneth Patcher. We were supposed to take a line or something from one of his poems and write a poem about it. So I found a book of his that had a bunch of watercolors by him. Had a bunch of little animals, and this is the poem that came out of that. The wild animals sniggered in the grass, watching as the bug waddles past. A man in it with a crown looked up, not down. He did not see the bird on the ground. A worried porcupine asked for a piece of meat and started to nibble on his feet. The bully bird flew up in rage, flapping its wings to turn the page. The fiery flies lit up the air. They called his name, but he did not care. He busied himself with a question mark and paid no attention to the passing lark.
All right, so here's the link. Wait.
Once upon a tangled mind, a plane of madness grew. Twisted,
Here's the
dark, and
invite.
blind it was, and only its owner knew. The thoughts
your
that
hot
came
dog,
from
John.
deep within the walls of this
New man.
imprisoned being. The men could see they were there, fears upon the walls did cling, with fragments of forgotten love, nothing
just wanna
broken
send you
things.
I know.
The stench of wasteful idleness brought
No,
down a
keep the
cloud
link
of gloom upon the valley between the walls
And then
where little
these-
hope was born. For minds would slave their whole life long for but one foolish thing, to die a
No,
death we all must
Hang on.
face, and end
So
everything.
now, got that
But that when I was 17.
video, audio. Oh.
Thanks a lot, Chris. When you have the person who co-founded the African American Writers and Artists with Jimmy Collins, and she is now about ready to publish a book. And she had a meeting that she had to do here at 2 o'clock because she didn't want to miss reading here. You feel very grateful to her. I'm very grateful to Sylvia Telefaro.
Black lives matter to me. Black lives matter to me. Hi, I'm Sylvia
Put whoever
Telefaro.
you want to send it to.
I'm so happy to be here.
Upstairs.
I'm sitting back here
And then-
and this brought in so many
When
memories.
we finish, we'll
And
work
I
on some
know
different
Jimmy
ways to do this.
Jim
make it
is
easier
kind of
for you.
up in age.
So whoever you
he
want to
kinda
send it
got
to,
things
put your
trying to-
email address in.
This event
comment,
started
address, comment,
when
send
Frank
it to
first opened up
Still
this
be able to do
restaurant.
Okay.
I did a youth open mic and Jimmy Collins did the adult. Jimmy joined us. All right. So anyway, one day, that one just make sure that we don't do like some people want to do it and rewrite history.
Right.
Today, I went to a couple of open mics and Mother's Day is coming up. I'm not going to do a Mother's Day poem. I love my mother. The thing that I noticed that nobody was doing, Father's Day is coming up. Nobody was doing Father's Day poem. And then I went to this conference and they were talking about how bad Black fathers were and what we're going to do about it. I'm like, wait a minute. nice fathers. I even had one. So I said, I'm going to do a Father's Day piece. This piece is entitled When You Thought I Wasn't Paying Attention. And this is for Daddy. When you thought I wasn't paying attention, I saw you. I saw you hang my first poem on the refrigerator, and immediately I wanted to run out and write another one. And when you thought I wasn't paying attention, I saw you save the milk we left at the bottom of our cereal bowl for the stray cat that had delivered under our doorstep. And I learned it's a good thing to be kind to animals. And when you thought I wasn't paying attention, I heard you ask Mama to bake my favorite cake for me because I seemed a little bit down. And I learned it's the little things that are so special in life. And when you thought I wasn't paying attention, I heard you praying. And I knew there was a God that I could always talk to. Therefore, I learned to trust him. And when you thought I wasn't paying attention, I saw you fix a plate from our skimpy meal and take it to a friend who was sick. And I learned that we all have to take care of each other, not just our sisters and brothers. When you thought I wasn't paying attention, I saw you. I saw you give of your time and money, even though you couldn't afford it, to help people who had nothing. So I learned those of us who have something should give to those of them who have nothing. When you thought I wasn't paying attention, I watched you put in thousands of hours being an activist, sometimes at our expense. I remember feeling jealous. I wanted you around all the time, but I learned the meaning of for the good of mankind. And when you thought I was asleep and surely not paying attention, I heard you come into my room and I felt you kiss me goodnight and whisper softly in my ear, "Sweet dreams tonight, cutie." And I felt loved and I felt safe. When you thought I wasn't paying attention, I saw you handle responsibilities, even though you knew you didn't feel good. And we both knew that your time on this world had come to an end. But I learned to embrace the inevitable and that I too have to be responsible when I grow up. Yes. When you thought I wasn't paying attention, I saw tears come from your eyes, and I learned that sometimes things hurt, and sometimes it's all right for men to cry. When you thought I wasn't paying attention, I saw that you cared. Therefore, I strived to be everything that I could be. Because when you thought I wasn't paying attention, I was learning lessons in living. I learned all I needed to know to be a basically good and productive person, and now I'm all grown up. And you thought I wasn't paying attention. I looked at you and I loved, admired, and respected you. And when I think of you, I want to whisper in the wind and have it blown throughout the universe so your spirit can receive it. On this special day, I want to say thank you for all the things that I saw when you thought I wasn't paying attention. Because now I know I'm influencing my children and my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren and my great-great-grandchildren and so on. Thank you, Daddy, for never leaving us alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't you come and tell tomorrow.
About some more love for Sylvia, please. Wherever Jimmy is right now, he's smiling because she's here. So we have a very special lady. She featured for us last year. And she's got a 5-year-old at home who's not going to be very patient very much longer. So let's bring her up. This is Elle.
Oh, thank you, Jim. Appreciate it. Short people. Hi, everybody. Hi. How are we doing? Good. This is my first time in person here, actually. This is really exciting. My name is Elle. And I have a piece for you today from my upcoming book. This is called I Am Honest. And it's an ode to verse for our poetry month. I am honest. On this you can bet last cents. For while giddy girls gussied telling lies in pink glitter gels, to lined marble-bound sheets, mashed messes, and heart-held Mrs. So-and-sos, I cuddled carpeted corners, in oversized tees masquerading as nightgowns, barefoot, with transcendental self-reliance in one hand, pen in the other, out for blood, in the form of sincerity. And though the quest thorned, this armory, my refuge, failed me not in ways that warranted white dresses. My first love looked not like the rest, wasn't tall or brunette locked, not a wristwatch wrapped swoosh loyalist journeying with spare strings and back pockets, but was built of humble lines and curves in both scratch print and vapor, spewed forth in pubescent fervor, phrasal phonemes in concert on purpose, a tailor-bent language of soul shakers, meaning makers, wave breakers, and call me quixotic, but the candle still burns for the one that never got away, the lover I failed to forsake and won't start now. Till this day, I wield her with intention, make holy as she the mundane with her every application, each lingual propellant, a mindful dedication, and in her name, Veritas will out, if I can help it. Knowing hurt never comes of her onerous use, but others' abuse, twisted tongues that smite her with fallacies or worse, spiritless silence. So my philosophy is just forthright or bust. Trust what you know from me. Believe what I say. Let resound what I write. Compress with your innards. Mix with it your chambers and fire it by your central spark so that it may fuel you. It's all safe to do. For I married Her Majesty a long time ago, and I'll always be true. Thank you.
The next poet, I was at a poetry reading that I believe it was John Fox. And she was halfway through her poem, and I was aware of how there's a freight train going through the room, and it's her poem. So fasten your seatbelts for Jan Gist.
I put together a few different poems that add up to 5 minutes, I think. Wordless. I want a wordless poem to appear from past the horizon line of actuality, riding on the breath of God, surrounding me, pouring purity into pinpoint, startling stars. I want the purpose of poems to quicken me into its stillness and poise my pen ready for dictation. I want the wordless truth to cut my chatter, to shut my stutter, to blind my eyes to what I've already seen, to stop my words from their familiarities with the easy, the surface, the shiny distractions of previous winsome wisdoms. I stand now, naked and ignorant, begging to be born into the writer the poem demands. Proximity. I remember how the edge of my surrounding air mingled with yours, pheromones entwining, chemistries combining. Near you, I could hear you emanate yourself, and my inhales inhaled your effervescent essence, and my Nero eyes could see into your dark hallway pathways and reach into and seep into your crevices of essences. I remember many co-mingling nearnesses, almost not quite actual touch, that brought us nearly near as much as touch, while you poured forward your more than knowable you, and I absorbed even more of your emittings, so neither of us knew exactly who was transmitting whose particle pieces of ourselves through and past our nearness, on into one another's wholeness. Pausing. Here is a morning, here is a moment, here is a lingering pause. Here is a question, here is before time, before a plan, to go, to do, to make, to meet, to prove, to produce, to get things done. Here is an empty opening that hasn't yet turned into the day's work. Here is the air, here is my breath, and even now, my pen in my fingers on this page in this lingering pause, pausing. For Lori, when it's dark. When I learned lost is a place, I could be in this lost place and still be alive in it and just notice I was alive and learning about this place. I could find the exits. When I learned empty is a part of the spectrum and not the end of my life, not a failure, not proof of my worthlessness, but a space of the dark betweens, I could notice the quiet and simplicity of empty and let myself be alive and notice I was alive while empty, and that empty, like lost, is not forever, though they both feel like forever in the moments of despair, until another moment comes along and changes it and me and the world. If I keep on noticing, I'm alive.
Thank you, Gina. Our next poet, I don't think she'll mind me saying that on May 12th, we'll be helping out with the Friends of Friendship Park, and we'll be reading our poems, our social justice poems, down at Borderfield State Park. There's the Border Patrol, I'm going to talk about this a little later on, are building a 30-foot wall at the beaches, and which is going to destroy Friendship Park, which is a place where families from both sides of the border can come and meet when the bureaucracy has defeated them from crossing, the Mexican or the United States bureaucracy. And the Border Patrol is trying to make that place die, building this 30-foot fence. Well, we showed up one time, was that 2 years ago? I think so. And the contingent that was supposed to meet us there, someone had a seizure and they took them to the hospital. So I said to Deborah, let's go over to the seawall and let's do a poetry reading to be in solidarity with how this is a place when Pat Nixon dedicated this Friendship Park area, she wanted it to be international and she wanted it to be a place where there would be no fence. And so I introduced a very strong poet, social justice, existential, whatever you want to say. But this is Grandma Deborah wrote. Man, I'm in good shape, aren't I? I'm not going to fall down though. Ramos, Deborah Ramos.
Deborah's just fine. Okay, one short poem and another one. Okay, this is about a camping trip. It's called Night Bed. Come close. Let me splatter you with my primal perfume. Bodies fused together, the taste soaks into your dripping chocolate skin. Our echoes arouse the sleeping meadow, stir the steady pines. Ears perk from their night beds. Clouds roll across the moon, sticky embraces smolder into dreaming. Okay, this is an old poem that I dug up and I was inspired to rewrite it when I went to Chris R's Poetic Legacy the other day.
Yeah.
No, I've been working on this. It's called The Scent of You. The scent of you clings in my hair like fresh morning. If I wash my hair, would your scent be carried to the sea, lifted by the wind, so I may inhale you once again? The warmth of you burns the curve of my neck. If I touch the passion flower, will it wilt from your heat, fall to the earth and grow, so my fingers may caress the blossom and hold you once again? Your breath anoints my lips like sacred oil. If I sip the ripening wine, will I also drink your kiss, so that I may be nourished by you once again? The summer night soaks our bodies, lulls us into a perfect rhythm. If the crescent moon swallowed us, would it swell to eternal fullness, pleasing the stars and sky to tell our story once again?
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Grandma. That was good stuff. When I told Joe Malash that this next boat was going to be here, I had to put on some sunglasses because of his smile. She is our Shiro. She's an incredible performer. When we were doing the San Diego Tijuana Revolutionary Poets Brigade poetry education on voting, she was there at the Queen Bee with us, and we recorded those. And we think we might have helped President Biden get elected in a small way because of our endeavors, but because when this lady reads, she will hold your attention. This is Dolores Fisher.
My students are always asking me, "What is it that you do again?" So trying to record here. I have an older poem and then a new one, and I'm hoping I have enough time. This particular poem we did at a wonderful collaborative event, and it was a play that Reese Green directed entitled Gangstas, about poets in South Africa who were killed for speaking the truth. This is entitled, Yea, Though We Walk Through the Shadow. It cannot be, God of our weary tear-streaked silence, you who have brought us far from lash and chains. We rage against night fists of men whose bestial lust would eat the very soul of truth from lips of newborn babies. But it is true. A sanguine 21st century evil pursues poetic spirit, howls in states of full-fanged frenzy as fleshy fragments drop on wood worn from flailing chests, uncontrollably jerking on dangling arms tied to mock crucifix as teeth splinters just jaggedly from coagulated gum seepage into philosophical ground pools of lawful extraction. Broken fingers wrap broken pens, scribbles pseudo-confession on scraps of blank paper, and acquiescence to attitude readjustment, expositions. This is the 21st century.
Bruised thighs and buttocks ache from violations, foul fluid, and acid that eats skin, muscle, bone, spirit, trial management, tools designed for maximum efficiency and multi-use engagement with the creatively obstinate. For some, words make laughter. They bring love, they distract, they amuse, they appreciate life's beauty. For poets caught in the web of political genocide, words raise high truth's blood-stained banner. Blazing like Jehovah's fire in storms of deceit, betrayal, and hatred. For the howling ravenous words are weapons, chained, chanting into wailing arms of wild winds, night wind song. Truth? Oh, truth is like an echo chamber. Truth? Oh, truth is an epistemic echo. Phantoms on oppressed lips, rebellion lullabies on oppressed ears, freedom getting up to stand in churches, funeral homes, coffee shops, offices, college campuses, street corners, playgrounds, bars, concert halls, marches, essays, blogs, Twitter, and spoken news all across this nation. When words are truth, the bellies of the vacuous, powerful rip and slash with consuming gluttonous lies, silencing the poet, the creatively obstinate, gnashing and vomiting crimson innocent souls, bellies never filled, devouring justice, devouring ethics, devouring morality, devouring human dignity, and incinerating truth. Ooh, this is a new one. I'm working on a digital project that concerns COVID. So this is brand new. I'm working through. This is called Mobile Feast. Wailing ambulance chorus intones Banshee Kyrie eleison as bodies barely breathing caravan through empty streets. A killing hoax shadow dances across our globe, on our reef, in our waking nightmares. COVID-19 will not leave. It will not leave. It will not leave the buffet table. Its siblings sit at an ancient feast and embrace its place among their virulent, festive feasters.
Got some more love for Dolores, please. I really appreciate our rant phone calls, and I'll see that she's calling me, and I'll go, well, I'll do that lesson plan 2 hours from now. That'll be okay. And we got a lot to rant about, for sure. And so thank you for coming. Appreciate you a lot. We're not going to have our feature because we've emailed him, and I want to apologize for that. But usually we do half the poets and we have the feature. So I've got something I think you might like to hear, like to be a part of. This is from the webpage of the Friends of the Friendship Park, and that's the wall that they're building at the beaches right now. That's what the big equipment they've got and everything. And here's what I wrote and what Dan Watman, who's one of the leaders to try to defeat militarization of our border. He says we increase our security, we increase our border effectiveness with friendship and respect, not with militarization. So words, not walls. Stop the destruction of Friendship Park. Stop the militarization of the border. No Berlin Wall here. La Migra, the Border Patrol, was created with no ears for what the community needs. Small caps typed deliberately. When the bureaucracy turns deaf to the will of the people, cheats the laws passed to protect the ecosystem, bulldozes the will of the people, and 10 years of native plants. They came and just bulldozed all the plants last year. Sorry, we didn't mean to do that. There's a term in Mexico that describes the Border Patrol, falsas de la democracia, fakes of democracy. The recent rains have slowed things down. This is Dan Watman, his voice. But the pace of destruction at Friendship Park will accelerate in the coming weeks at a time of national reckoning with issues of racial justice and with efforts growing to decolonize our public landscape. The federal government is working to erect 2 30-foot monuments to racism and colonialism at California's Border Park. The Friends of Friendship Park will not sit back and just watch this happen. Our core team and dozens of volunteers are mobilizing. Number 1, document what's happening on the ground. 2, take action to express our opposition. 3, advocate with California's leaders to intervene. To join, stop the destruction of Friendship Park, go to, and there's an email address you can go. I'm going to leave this over on the table if you like to email Nancy, who's a photographer, a very social justice photographer. If you like to be involved in that, that's why Deborah and I are going down there on the 12th. On May 20th, we'll be at El Tonel, the San Diego Tijuana Revolutionary Poets Brigade. Chris and Joe will be with me. Dolores will be with us. There'll be a few more people that are going to be there. Julio is going to zoom in from, he's a professor at Baylor University in Texas. So we're very, very angry. And they have not been listening to all of they're supposed to, by law, listen to when community gatherings. Well, what does the community want? Well, we don't want a 30-foot wall there. There's already an 18-foot wall there. And that's what the wall looks like. That's what they want. You can't even see through it. And so I'll just read a couple more things and then we'll go back to the poetry. An immediate call to action, stop the wall. Our current and urgent goal is to stop the building of 2 30-foot border walls that will destroy core components of Friendship Park, mar the visitor experience on both sides of the border, and eradicate views across the international San Diego-Tijuana boundary. The vision: build the park a truly international park, which is what Pat Nixon wanted when she dedicated the park. Our multi-year goal is to build a truly international park without walls, in which residents on both sides of the border can visit, embrace, and share a day together, including people who can't see their children. This is what happens routinely at several binational parks on the US-Canadian border, like the Peace Arch Park connecting Washington State to British Columbia. We know it is possible with the proper investment of public funds and robust binational collaboration to create a vital public space of this sort at Friendship Park. I'm going to put all this over on the table if you want to look at it, if you want to get involved. When they bulldozed the park, they bulldozed 10 years of growth. So now what you have on our side of the border is we were allowed to come in and plant and sprout and stuff like that. And now on the Mexican side of the border is 10 years of shrubs and eco plants. And the difference between the two, when you look on the Mexican side of the border, you see people in bathing suits. When you look on our side of the border, you see goons that look like they're riot police that are heavily armed. And it's like, come on, guys, come on. You're doing this for a paycheck? Because we feel secure when we go to the border. We don't feel threatened by people in bathing suits. So thank you for listening to me. I'm going to bring up Julio now, Julio Cesar Aguilar, who just started to tag along with us. He's a professor at Baylor, and he showed up one time at this event, and he just says, coming, and I think you'll find me gusta el sonido de español, that you will love the sound of Spanish, because he's going to read to us in Spanish and English. Julio Cesar Aguilera, please.
Thank you, Jim. Happy to be here again. I have allergies. I hope I can read well. I'm going to read 2 very short poems in Spanish and in English, okay? De la poesía su voz. Habituada al silencio, la voz solo ansía florecer en las páginas caducas del poema inconcluso. En vano ella cruza el puente del idioma, si a los labios no llega del canto su esbelta luz, ni qué profundas músicas de ningún lenguaje. Poetry's voice, the voice, accustomed to silence, craves only sprouting on the composed pages of an incomplete poem. Voice crosses the bridge of language in vain, if neither song's felt light nor deep music of any tongue on your lips arrive. El siguiente poema, the next poem, is titled Llueve. Como llovizna terca taladrando tenazmente la toda sola tarde, se obstina el pensamiento en pensar lo que no es, acaso mínima idea, simiente que ha de crecer y caer ya deshojable rosa, y caer de nuevo, y otra vez caer como llovizna terca, inundando solo de la tarde sola su tan llovida totalidad. It's raining. Like the stubborn drizzle tenaciously drilling through the whole lonely afternoon, thought becomes obstinate, thinking what is not, by chance a minimal idea, seed that must grow and fall, a rose ripe for plucking, and fall again, and once again fall, as the stubborn drizzle floats only the lonely afternoons, so rainy totality. Thank you.
Thank you, Julio. Did Cheryl leave? I think she left, didn't she? Cheryl, you're not up there anymore, are you?
Are you all through with this one?
Okay, so that's our lot. Cheryl Latif was over at
I'm done. I don't know if he's done.
30th and University for a whole bunch of times, and she was when we were all real new and all scared. She made us all feel real welcome. I'm sorry that she left, but she was waiting a long time to get in. That's not her fault. I'm a Navy veteran, Vietnam veteran, and we got another Navy veteran who was on an actual ship that could actually race a tugboat, believe it or not. My ship couldn't do that. My ship went 9 knots. I think, what did yours go, about 35 knots? Yeah, so anyway, his grandson or his son is now a civilian, not deployed anymore, so yeah. So let's welcome David Legenhorst, please. Thank you for all the visuals you send us.
Thank you, Jim. I'm honored to be here with such wonderful people. So I was thinking about the time when our government of these United States decided it was appropriate to split up immigrant families and put the kids in cages. And so it enraged me, and so I wrote these little things down. This is called Migrants. So now we take their kids away and put them in cages. We treat these folks like criminals to suit the haters' rages. They're only people, after all, searching for a better life and providing for their children.
while protecting them from strife. Make them demons and spread the fear. That works for politicians. Then maybe folks won't realize the truth of their conditions. It seems to me it's love or hate. That's what this is all about. And how we view our fellow man filled with sympathy or doubt. I'd like to see the hateful ones set their bigotry aside. Imagine that they have no hope, or their families can't provide. Just try to walk in others' shoes, try to feel the pain they feel. See if you can hear your conscience. Know what's right and know what's real. Thank you. This one I call values. We hear the lies, we see the hate, dehumanizing people as the children die in cages, bells silent in the steeples. Where is the rage and anguish? Does the conscience look away? Is humanity regressing? Will we love another day? Will we love to live another day? Is there anything we value? Do we just prioritize? If others' lives are meaningless, then our own we minimize. The world keeps going round the sun, false measurement of living. It's not the weeks or months or years, but days of take or giving. Thank you. This was a little story. It's a true story. It's called Independence Day. 4th of July in El Cajon. The sky is lacking texture, heat rippling off the blacktop, heading back to the source. A neighborhood of salons, car shops, gun dealers, Mother Goose Parade Association, and a fenced, gated property with no name. Just a sign with a rising sun. A single-story yellow stucco building, a flock of air conditioning units perched on the roof. No trespassing signs. Notices that the area is under video surveillance. A white unmarked van pulls up to the electric gate. The passengers, beautiful young brown-skinned girls. They won't celebrate Independence Day today. No freedom, no family, no hope. This is a migrant children's detention center. Don't look like children. Don't look like criminals, more like angels. The old man there to protest this barbaric policy doesn't speak their language. A hand heart will have to suffice. Back come smiles and love. Drops leak from the eyes. The pain is real. Back to the curb, wearing a USO t-shirt, his American flag upside down on its little pole. The signal for people in distress. Will others realize the plight of innocence? Will others take up their cause? Passing drivers shout their hate. Show feelings with one finger. And then he stops. Yelling and showing disgust, not enough. He will have the flag and his pound of flesh. The old man is no match, but he's determined to continue his silent protest. The flagpole snatched, jabbed into the gut, a kick to the groin, no surrender. Then help arrives in the form of a young man with compassion. Hatred slinks away. Back to the curb. A call to his grandson to say the street is getting rough, but it's okay. The grandson appears and the old man's spirit's right. If they can stir anyone to care about the children and their families, then everything is worthwhile. Hatred returns with 2 more haters. The air reeks of rage. Grandson steps in front of the old man and will not back down. He's just a tall, skinny teenager. I'm sorry. His commitment to his grandpa and his lack of fear caused the man once to pause. Suddenly, the cavalry arises again in their black and whites. This battle has ended before it began. Advice given to the old man: go home now. Keep your blood off the street. Feeling old, weak, tired, but proud, time to furl the flag. The rising sun remains today. The white bands still come and go. Families still torn apart. Innocent children scarred for life. The needle hasn't moved. Amen.
We have a lot of educators in the room, and we all know when those tears come up, it's the best writing. So thank you, brother. Appreciate it. And could your better half, could you wave to us so we know? Yeah, there she is. The power behind the throne.
In 1966, this one and I said, we do. It will be 57 years.
What's the secret of 57 years of marriage?
You have to learn to say yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I was a couple in Julie now went up for some apple pie one day, and this guy stands up there from Texas, and he says, "We're celebrating 50 years of marriage." So I went and I paid my bill, and I went over and I said, "What's the secret of 50 years of marriage?" And he said, "Keep your mouth shut." And she went like this. So happy anniversary. Can we give them some applause for what is that? 6 decades? Wow, that's cool. I'm gonna fish for some more applause for our engineer, Alfred, who nobody should be on the Zoom right now except for him, and he just changed my life. So Alfred Williams builds websites, wins short film awards in different countries, and is definitely makes my life a whole bunch better. Alfred Williams, how about some more love for Alfred? And when he told me he wanted me to start a podcast, I didn't go like this, but I was like, well, sure. But he trained me, and I've got a podcast now. And also on the table, we have How We Say It, and basically a 6-week course that's for free for veterans, for national, international, and deported veterans. They served our country. They were deployed, and they got out of the service, and then they were deported. And so we have, right now, I have the classes started just on Thursday, and I have 5 more classes for free. I've got funding from the Institute of Poetic Medicine and from HCA Medellin in Colombia, so I don't have to charge anybody. It's all for free. And they're 2-hour classes that are online, so if you know a veteran, send them my way. 44 veterans committing suicide in our country every day. And we have amputees, we have people separating from the military. They've been deployed too much into the war. And as most of you know, poetry can really help. If you're feeling suicidal, if you're anxious, if you're depressed, poetry can really help, because I've come through that kind of stuff in my poetry. So I like teaching these people and their fellow veterans, and it's free. So thank you for listening. We have a young man that has been on our mics before, and I just kind of almost tackled him to ask him to read, and he said he would. Andrew, would you come up and read, please?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. See familiar faces and know some new faces. Hope everybody's good. I'm not really much of a explain my poetry, but this one I did write in response to if anybody's familiar with the Martin Luther King Jr. speech, when he just like kind of describes if you're gonna be a street sweeper, do that like with the best of your ability, or like your chest out, and like just whatever you do in life, do it in a way that you can hold your head up high. So I was watching that one lonely night and wrote this poem. It's called Street Sweeper. Nights when the song sings through rain and dances with lampposts that look soggy, air damp and moist, appearing as chandeliers to moss or an unmarked building to Basquiat. I'll be there, driving around, hiding any evidence of our shadows. For graffiti could always be washed. Let fill set in, it rots. Evenings, when the work is endless and the rubbish is unrelenting, I think back to a time when I would have had no means. I'm needed now and among the highest of the chin holders because removing your waste became a priority. Our inability to clean up our own acts are ruining society's reputation. Reformation takes a back seat to removing the skeletons. When it's Tuesday and sleeping can't be found and your car is parked far away, and uniformed men with tiny contraptions on wheels eagerly await daylight like a scab waits to heal to cite citations. As tool welders continue to build and destroy, I'll be there to sweep the debris. Dreams of erecting empires should have died with the Lord of Flies, yet our pig-like ways never ceased. As the restless are up creating the mess, I'm finally ready to relax because my new lullaby is the sweeping noise of change on the overwhelmed paved asphalt, washing away the loitering traces of litter, grit, and any fault. This next one requires no backstory. I wrote it for a contest I lost, so now it's just a poem for the world. If the world read more poetry. If the world read more poetry, one would hesitate before calling the next one soft. Intimate knowledge would preside over the beam holding us all barely together. If the world read more poetry, many will find outside their own minds attempts at asking the worth of the universe and the heavens, and they will discover that the answers are going through trials much greater. Grandeur declarations of margin showing our errors. We all know so little. If the world read more poetry, white flags would wave, the stubborn would become better listeners, the hues of their pupils would change, and the snapping of a twig would mean that much more. If the world read more poetry, we may find relief. We're all so lonely, therefore connected. We'd hold hands tighter, hug with more vigor, kiss with the passion of centuries of prose. If the world read more poetry, jobs would have fewer hours, fewer consumers molesting the products, every able body too busy reading, unearthing the mysteries we never escaped. If the world read more poetry, I sound like less of a rambling idiot.
Please come back. You're ready to feature for us anytime you tell me.
Oh,
Isn't he ready to feature for us?
Yeah.
Back in 25 minutes.
together.
With or without the book, you're ready to feature for us. And, you look at the average age in here, it's about 130. And, well, you and Jack Benny are 39, I know that. And so we always want to bow to the young people that come here. You're our future. And we're standing on the shoulders of people that admired, that we admired. And we welcome you to stand on our shoulders, and you're kind of standing on your own shoulders with your talent. You're a very talented young man. Thank you for coming. Okay. Well, I hope that you can tune into KNSJ, the Network of Social Justice. Martin Eder is my absolute hero. I see him standing in the fire of people just trying to tear him apart, tear him down. And he stays calm, he stays balanced, and he stays compassionate. And this lady has a show on KNSJ, and it's called Electric Picnic. She's interviewed me twice. She lets me talk about everything from the Friendship Park issues to whatever is on my heart. She's a very, very good host. She's a very, very good poet. This is Susan Taylor.
Little more of a PSA on KNSJ. I'm gonna leave some of these cards over here on the table, bright yellow, and it's got my name and email address on the bottom. So I'm honored to be the host on the electric on KNSJ 89.1 FM. Dolores has been a guest on my show. Chris Nelson, Chris Renoy, Jack Stewart, Jim, as he said, Deborah Ramos, Dolores, thank you. I thought that I mentioned it. Dolores. And Sylvia was on my show.
Yeah, I haven't been on yet.
Oh, well, please.
We
please
had
be
an
on.
email thing that happened, so it
Okay.
was my fault.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, it's hard to get some of these busy, talented poets on my show. But my last show I interviewed Charlie Berrigan. Some of you might know him. And he was rattling off all of these classical references that were way over my head. So I wrote a poem back to Charlie, and if you get on my show, maybe I can write a poem back about you and what you write. Charlie shunned barley. He took up cooking, bird rooking, eyes of a poet looking. Sweet-talked Russian masters, commanders, orphans and scribes. Said, forget the money, never take bribes. Write what you know, dream for. Don't store them in boxes. Released wild red foxes. Toes on the edge, your truth, your pledge. Yesterday I went downtown and rode on the trolley after many years of not riding it. Dogs still aren't allowed, but I could see this person really wanted to bring her dog on the trolley. Border Collie rides red trolley to Tijuana, hangs with chihuahuas. I have a dog too. Bumps, scratches, door to my room. 2 a.m. You must wait, my love. In yoga this morning. Shavasana noise, reveille ringtone, muscles tense. Drizzle spritzes underwear, not a day for clotheslines. Also, what did I want to read here? Okay, let me grab a picture here. I have one more.
Yeah, that's good.
I have a neighbor who more than dabbles in clay. She's always bringing me what she calls her broken pots, which are beautiful. This is called flawed ceramic. A blue leaf clay plate, split at one end, a flaw on the surface. None of us are perfect. Some of our mistakes remain hidden for a lifetime until some stress forces the fissure into view. Who wouldn't forgive the potter, the clay, the glaze, the oven? Who will forgive she who displays the cracked dish in the room that everyone passes through, there on top of the teak entertainment stand? They wonder why she would even set it out in the natural light coming through the window. She says she finds it interesting, not offensive, pretty even. It was her fault, but that was a long time ago. When you see the blue leaf plate in her house in a prominent place, be kind. Understand that it marks a woman who molded something pleasant from her own dust and water. Thank you.
Yeah.
Purple-haired activists, meet white women, beat poets, warriors of all kinds of social justice. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you for coming. We don't know if this next poet's going to sing. He's going to do a poem. We're not sure what he's going to do, but I'm sure he'll let you know. This is Alistair McLeod.
Alistair.
Well, Jim, I'm gonna do all of the above.
Yeah.
I actually wasn't gonna perform anything today, but I realize as I'm sitting here listening, that the reason I'm here isn't to entertain you or to show off, is to test myself. So, have to bear with me, this will explain itself as I go. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with pride from sea to shining sea. Have you ever felt as if you were only pretending to be yourself? Pretending to be the person that you think you are, and then waking up to find out you know not a damn thing about who you actually are? I have. I'm going to be quoting several times. Hold on, let me go, I got it. From the inimitable James Baldwin, because he was saying things we badly need to hear right now. He was saying them 70 years ago.
Seems to be.
Not everything that is faced can be changed. This thing is going to.
I was trying to help you, brother. You told me not to.
Well, I did, and I was wrong, but now I have
Got it now?
fixed it. Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced.
Yes.
I don't know where I read this, but I copied it now. The Supreme Court explains that it has been a highly political institution from its inception. In this, as in so many other respects, those of us who came of age in the 60s enjoyed a period of American prosperity and enlightenment that we failed to recognize as an anomaly, if not an outright illusion. Now, the scales fall from our eyes and we reel back in dismay. We are finding out who we really are. This is particularly in reference to one of the most ugliest manifestations of who we really are that's happening in this country right now, and that is the how can I describe it? The use of sexual panic to find a focus for hatred, and that hatred being directed at transgender people. James Baldwin said, "There are so many ways of being despicable, it quite makes one head spin. But the way to be really despicable is to be contemptuous of other people's pain."
Yes.
And adding one more line from Mr. Baldwin, and I want you all to be this person. The victim who is able to articulate the situation of the victim has ceased to be the victim. He or she has become a threat. And I did not know this was the last verse of America the Beautiful. I've never, ever heard it sung. America, America, God mend thine every flaw. Confirm by sowing self-control, thy liberty in law. That's it.
Take it out there. Liberty in law.
Last time you were here, you took me on a time machine back to the hootenannies. Remember the hootenannies? When we all had hair, us men and everything? That was beautiful. That was beautiful. This gentleman just had a birthday, and he's like one of my heroes. And he had his name second on the list, and I just caught it because he said, "Are you going to call on me?" 2 minutes ago. And I apologize. This is Chris Ernest Nelson. Thank you, Jim. It's just a puppy. I wasn't worried about that. This is a better spot anyway, not sandwiched over here with my serious poetic rivals. Here I am toward the petering out at the end.
This is so funny.
Poetry is a magic language. I am Chris Ernest Nelson. This poem has never been read in public because it's a little bit too long, but it can be read in 5 minutes. So I will ask for your tolerance. This is Spirits of the Earth. The sea. He stood on the shore of the surging Pacific, his feet nested in sand, still warm from the bounty of the generous California sun. As the golden orb bid farewell with a flash and touched the horizon, the spirits of the deep rose up in the wind and spoke to him in words that sang with the circling birds of the sea. Come, join us in our vast abysmal deep. Come join the effulgent creatures of undulating light in the rolling dark. Dance with us and the chorus of seagrass reaching for the sun. Come join in our dominion. Be resolute as waves. Be constant as tides. And be true as a dream. The forest. He approached the edge of the vast forest, his eyes climbing to the highest branches, where each tree reached out to salute the others in celebration of survival. When a breeze came up the valley, laughing, the old giants invited him to stay, to listen to their tales of fires and storms, and hear their ancient songs. We are free, they said. Though we may be bound to the earth by our roots, we are free to grow and reach up to heaven, free to touch the boundless sky, and free to spread our branches wide. All freedoms are bound by duty. Nature sets limits to our liberty, but gives us justice instead, so we can all be free. The desert. The scene shifted, and he found himself in a rolling desert of desolation and desires. A bleak wind swept the loose sand up and over the wandering dunes, and it gathered around lonely shrubs. The searing sun danced lightly upon a pulsing mirage that beckoned him to come drink of its fancies. The desert is stoically patient and serene. It declares its determination to confirm that life is supremely sacred and rare. There is a magic there, born of wide openness and stark austerity in all but light. The desert declares it is a gateway to the mystery and resilience of life, and the holy book to prophets. The city. The impassive city can sometimes devalue a man, so that only his anonymity can teach him to find some value in himself again. When he walks the streets in the long shadows of day's end, the great gray buildings part to reveal him in the exuberant light and to lead him to possibilities never dreamed or to secrets long forgotten. You are nobody,
the city implied, like wind, and surrounded him with the strangers who would never know his name, nor care whether he rose from the streets like the mists of forgetting all the slights and discourtesies that spoke of a struggle to make himself a small community of friends. The sky. He tried to catch his breath as the blue sky raced overhead in hot pursuit of a dream the sea must never share, the forest cannot reveal, the desert will keep secret, and only the city will callously mock. He dreams of finding love that will endure as long as the currents of clouds encircle the earth, and smile, remembering. The sky alone, of all the spirits of the earth, will speak of the mystery that hides in his dreams, dreams that wander in his days and in his troubled nights, dreams that wake with the clearing sky after the storms of doubt that rain on all the aspirations he planted in his heart were well spent. His dreams promise love will come. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Joe.
Speaking of saving the best for last, this gentleman is a talented artist. He just got back from the Sundance in Arizona with his lovely wife, and he's a carpenter, he's an electrician, he was a pipe fitter, and he's definitely a poet and a musician. Please welcome Jack Stewart Smith. You want to amplify the guitar or your voice?
My voice.
Yeah. It's very complicated. But we'll get through the complication. I think I need to sit down. So that'll add a little complication to the whole. No problem. Such a kind introduction, Jim. Oh, my goodness. True introduction. Thank you very much. An honor to be here. Hello, family.
Hello, man. Good to have you.
I love you all. Thank you. I'd first like to. You know, telephones are pretty amazing. So what I had a poem on my phone that I wanted to read. And here's what it says. I think I need to sit down now so that add a little complication to the So my phone erased the poem and recorded me talking to Jim. That was nice. So tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna skip the poem.
Backup plan.
But I will tell you, I will share it on the next time we get together.
Thank you.
And I won't let AI throw me off next time. So, that being said, the name of this song is My Dreams Will Carry Me.
Yeah.
How long will this journey take me? When will this body release me? Lightness, brightness, surround me. Yeah, yeah. Lightness, brightness, they fill me. I've got 1 foot over this mountain, 1 foot in the sea. I've got eyes that see a vision. My dreams will carry me. Now, should I mic the guitar or my voice? What do you think? Voice. Good, good. Good? Maybe we'll go middle ground. I know, this freedom found me. I reach, I the boundaries, yeah, yeah. I can rise round me. Right there, feel got 1 foot, 1 foot in the sea. I've got eyes that see a vision. My dreams will carry me, yeah, yeah. My dreams will carry me. Dreams will carry me. My dreams will carry me. My dreams will carry me. My dreams carry me. God, what will you see? God, I feel the vision. My dreams will carry me, yeah, yeah. Through this journey, take me. When body meets me, yeah, yeah, yeah. I can ride it, found me. Will be God, me, yeah. My dreams will carry me. My dreams will carry me, yeah. My dreams will carry me. My dreams will carry me. My dreams will carry me. And Jack Stewart Smith, give him some love. Jack Stewart Smith. That little sign over to stage, your stage left, my stage right. I gave myself a birthday present last year in January. I went and saw the Warriors play at their new palace in San Francisco. And I went to the Beat Museum. That's where I got this. Jimmy Collins might have said this. We welcome all races, all countries of origin, all sexual orientation, all gender, all abilities. And Andrew reminded me that something's missing. We welcome all ages. Yeah. We have this tradition here that if you want to hang out for a little bit after we're all done, and you want to approach a poet and talk about their influences, or talk about how you can find Jack Stewart Smith's house, or whatever you want to do. See his black light room. That's pretty cool. Have some more coffee, whatever. We just kind of hang out, and you're welcome to do that. But it's time for our last poem. And I want to thank Mr. McLeod for reminding me that I was in the Langston Hughes Poetry Circle for 10 years. This is Langston Hughes. Let America be America again. Let it be the dream it used to be. Let it be the pioneer on the plain, seeking a home where he himself is free. America, no, never was America to me. Let America be the dream, the dreamer's dream. Let it be that great strong land of love where never kings connive nor tyrants scheme that any man be crushed by one above. It never was America to me. Oh, let my land be a land where liberty is crowned with no false patriotic wreath, but opportunity is real and life is free. Equality is in the air we breathe. There's never been equality for me, nor freedom in this homeland of the free. Say, who are you that mumbles in the dark? And who are you that draws your veil across the stars? I am the poor white, fooled and pushed apart. I am the black man bearing slavery scars. I am the red man driven from the land. I am the immigrant clutching the hope I seek and finding only the same old stupid plan. Dog eat dog, of mighty crush the weak. I am the young man full of strength and hope, tangled in that ancient endless chain of profit, power, gain, of grab the land, of grab the gold, of grab the ways of satisfying need, of work the men, of take the pay, of owning everything for one's own greed. I am the farmer, bondsman to the soil. I am the worker, sold to the machine. I am the black man, servant to you all. I am the people, humble, hungry, mean. Hungry yet today despite the dream. Beaten yet today, oh, pioneers. I am the man who never got ahead, the poorest worker bartered through the years. Yet I'm the one who dreamt our basic dream in the old world while still a serf of kings. Who dreamt a dream so strong, so brave, so true, that even yet its mighty daring sings in every brick and stone, in every furrow turned. That's made America the land it has become. Oh, I'm the man who sailed those early seas in search of what I meant to be my home. For I'm the one who left the dark Ireland's shore and Poland's plain and England's grassy lea, and torn from black Africa's strand, I came to build a homeland of the free. The free? Who said the free? Not me. Surely not me. The millions on relief today, the millions shot down when we strike, the millions who have nothing for our pay, for all the dreams we've dreamed and all the songs we've sung and all the hopes we've held and all the flags we've hung. The millions who have nothing for our pay, except the dream that's almost dead today. Oh, let America be America again, the land that never has been yet, and yet must be, the land where every man is free, the land that's mine, the poor man's, Indians, black man's, me. Who made America? Whose sweat and blood, whose faith and pain, whose hand at the foundry, whose plow in the rain? Must bring back our mighty dream again. Bring back our mighty dream again. Sure, call me an ugly name you choose. The steel of freedom does not stain from those who live like leeches on the people's lives. We must take back our land again. America! Oh, yes, I say it plain. America never was America to me, and yet I swear this oath. America will be. Out of the rack and ruin of our gangster death, the rape and rot of graft and stealth and lies, we the people must redeem the land, the mines, the plants, the rivers, the mountains, and the endless plain. All the stretch of these great green states, and make America again. Thank you for coming. See you next month. Thank you. Well, thank you, Mr. Alfred. I made you work too hard today. Thank you for coming. I'm always glad to see you. Yeah, I'm glad to meet you.